we're opening a new program probably next fall, and the goal is mostly to recruit. Our goal is mostly to get a lot of people to know about cybersecurity, because for them to, especially for students to join, for even parents to advise, or for we need this kind of uh, climate where we can share information, where we can, educate people, and everybody is free to ask questions during these 3 days. We're going to do some hands-on. We're going to, you know, because cybersecurity is not just a concern for anybody. Anyone who's using the computer should be, knowledgeable about its own security. It's true that we want to expand this so that everyone will, benefit from this, the community, parents, even mostly even parents, because when a parent know how to secure the assets at home, even they can educate their kids also. So this is mostly cybersecurity awareness. In that, we're going to have some lab hands-on and educating ourselves, educating others, because the more we know, the more we can even transmit the what we know, the knowledge that we receive. So thank you so much for joining. We are going to start, and I know they will have something for us tonight. And thank you. Thank you, Diego. Thank you for joining.
Yes, good evening, everyone. I don't know what the audience is. I thought this was more for students and parents, kind of like a cybersecurity awareness. I do have a presentation. I'll go through it. We'll get to some hands-on. I do have to be out by 6:50, but I gotta be at a class at 7. So, if people in the group don't know me, I'm Diego Tibaquira. I work with Ostos Community College in their cybersecurity program that we have been developing through the high tech grant. The whole purpose is to raise cybersecurity awareness that helps students take courses that map to industry certifications, kind of learn about the landscape of cybersecurity field. But the session was more for in general. So the one thing that I've been working on is something called cybersecurity for all. And in that, what we try to do is the better cyber aware that you are, the better that you're going to be securing somebody else's network. So instead of just starting students with um, the things that they have to do to secure a network or an environment, it's better to learn how to do cybersecurity for yourself. So the purpose of this presentation takes people from the ground up, from the very basics, all the way to the point where they're a little more aware into what actually entails into information security, what are the processes, some day-to-day things that we see on the news, that we see all over the place, identity theft, phishing, scams, and things of that nature. How do we learn to recognize those, how does it happen, why does it happen, and everything else. So that's kind of the purpose of the presentation. Hopefully we do get a bigger audience and I'm able to come back maybe in the future where we do this, usually do this again in the spring. We'll get an audience, but I'll share with you guys what's here. If you have any questions, just let me know. Again, I'm Diego Tibaquira. I'm a full-time professor of computer science, cybersecurity, cloud computing, and artificial intelligence at Miami-Dade College. I'm a former United States Marine, and I work for the National Security Agency and the Department of Defense as well in information security. So again, the whole point of this is to kind of raise awareness about cybersecurity, learning from the ground up. First of all, what is information security? How does it happen into like the very basics? So what are bits, bytes, and what is encryption? We hear a lot about this, bytes, bits, and encryption, but sometimes students don't really comprehend in greater scale what does that mean. Uh, this semester, actually this year, I've been working in an externship with one of our industry partners, an international organization, and I went in, I interviewed over 12 engineers, security experts, and everything else. And I asked, what are some of the things that our students need? And they say they need the basics, kind of like the operating system class that we have, the networking class that we have, the security, the Linux. Students need the basics. Sometimes we tend to think that because we're growing up in a digital era, that makes you a computer expert, and it doesn't. Managing systems is very different than using TikTok or Facebook or social media. It is something totally different. So in that sense, understanding how systems operate from the ground up is very important. Understanding what identity theft is, and when I talk about this, people say, well, nobody's going to steal my identity. And I'm like, yes, because you're starting in life and you have nothing, to take away. But as you grow and become a professional and start building a life and a career, identity theft can be detrimental. I actually had my identity stolen a couple of years ago, went to file my taxes, and somebody had used my social security number to already file taxes with my number. Took about 11 months to get it cleared out, and it was a nightmare in the way that you're powerless. There's very little that you can do. Secure internet connections, and this starts from your home, from your modem. Do you have a strong password on your internet connection at home? How does that work? Do you just use the one that comes with the box? And up to a couple of years ago, they will install your modem with no password at all. So you have the capability of logging in as an administrator, seeing what your internet connection is. You can change, you can assign different IP addresses, you can assign ports, stop giving your home internet to every single person that comes to your house. You can actually create a guest account so that you're not giving them the real password and everything else. And then with passwords, there is a section on this presentation about secure passwords. If you don't have more than one password at this moment, you're doing it incorrect. So this is a part of the presentation that applies to everyone, including Dr. Coffee, and Professor Dejali has been in my presentations long enough that hopefully she's using better passwords now. But every time I present this, whether it is at a hospital, a bank, administrators from the college, the one thing is after the presentation, I see everybody trying to change passwords. You need to get a antivirus, not only on your computer, desktop, but on your laptop, on your tablet, and on your cell phones, because those are the devices that you use the most. Going back to passwords, if you only have one password for everything, that's not a good thing, because once a bad guy, a hacker, has your credentials for that one password from somewhere, then they can attack everything else. The best way to do it is with a password manager that allows you to have an individual and different password for every single one of your accounts. But the question is, well, how secure is a password manager? There are some out there that are very secure. And then now you remember just one main really strong password and not a whole set. So that's what information security is. The process of protecting information by preventing, detecting, and responding to attacks. And as you notice, attacks are more prevalent. I kind of gonna go a little faster than if it was parents and students, just because of the audience. Means protecting information and information systems from unauthorized access, use, disclosure, disruption, modification, or destruction. By the way, one of those things can be bad. A combination of those things could be catastrophic. Hackers are different and do different things in different ways. I am a ethical hacker. I did work doing that, but the whole point is, there are hackers that want to be in your system, without being recognized. They want to live in there rent free without you knowing that they're there. They just want a copy of everything that you do. There are other hackers that do want to disrupt your business. They want to make sure that your system goes down and everything else. They want to modify, they want to destruct. Others, they just want to be in there and get a copy of everything that you do. That's why you hear sometimes there was a data breach in Target, and the bad actors were in the system for about 5 years. Another one happened at Marriott. Bad actors were in the system for about 7 years before they got recognized that they were inside the system. So different things, and different people do it for different reasons. It is a money-making machine. How does it happen? When was the last time you went online and they offered you a coupon, and to get that coupon, you gave them your email address, you gave them your phone number, and you don't realize that the whole reason for that is they're capturing your data. Selling data is one of the biggest businesses out there. So anytime that you put in your email address, your phone number, and your personal information anywhere, think twice as to why you want to do that. Is it worth it? Cell phones are the worst. You have installed an application in your cell phone. The application will say if you agree to them having access to your camera, your microphone, your gallery, your contacts, and everything else to play a game. And sometimes you got to think, why do they need access to all that just to give you capabilities to play a game? So in that sense, you have to start being more aware as an individual, regardless of who you are. And the better that you protect your devices, yourself, and your families, the better you're going to bring it to the workplace, and you're going to protect those systems. Especially you guys have an experience with a real life hack that you saw how disruptive it was and how destructive it could be. So you have a first-hand experience into that. For over 20 years, information security has held confidentiality, integrity, and availability, and those are the cornerstones, the CIA of cybersecurity. Confidentiality, making sure that only the people that should see the message sees it. Integrity, making sure that a message is not changed from point A to point B. And then availability is just making sure that the systems are working and that you have access to what you need when you need it. If any of those things is disrupted, bad things can happen. And bad things can happen. You're running a business, it could bring down your business. It could bring down your business. It could slow you down. And in the current state of affairs, if there is another business out there that has the same service that you have, but you are unavailable, your customers are immediately going to go somewhere else. The one thing I want you to think about is, how long do you wait on Instagram for a picture or a post to load before you go to the next one? I get different answers here. People say 30 seconds, 10 seconds, and I will tell you that it's 1 to 2 seconds. You're not waiting for anything. You're going to keep scrolling. So that's kind of what disruption is. And again, the basics of cybersecurity: confidentiality, integrity, and availability. And again, confidentiality makes sure that the information stays secret. So we're gonna try to make it interactive. So in that sense, you're going to go to a website in which you're going to put in your username and password, but you're gonna put in your credit card. Do you ever look at the URL or the Uniform Resource Locator, the bar at the top where the address is? What should be the first 4 or 5 letters in there before you put your credit card number? What should be the beginning of that URL before? What should you be looking for in that URL before you put in your credit card number? And anyone can participate, including Dr. Coffee and everybody else. And let's see, if you give me answers, then I'll ask more questions. If not, I'll just keep presenting, but I want to see if there is some form of interaction into what we're doing. You're going to put in your credit card number. What should be on that URL? What should be the first couple of letters and why? Yes. Anybody? So what
Can
this is
you
telling me,
please repeat again the question?
The question.
yeah, sure. When you go to a website and you're going to put your credit card number, do you ever look up? So what it's telling me is that you don't look up. Do you ever look up at the URL, Uniform Resource Locator, or the address of the website that you're in? What should be the first 3-4 letters that are in there? And by the way, that link that somebody just put on the chat, those are the first 5 letters that I'm looking for.
Okay.
All right.
HTTPS.
So let's talk about HTTPS. Is there an HTTP without the S? Does that exist?
Oh.
HTTP, is that real? Does that exist? Yes. What is the S for? What is the S for? And you can type it in or you can say it. What is the S for? What is the purpose of the S? That tells you that that website is what?
Like
Secure?
security, right?
Secure. So HTTP is not secure. If you put in your credit card and the website says HTTP, you shouldn't, because somebody's going to steal your identity. HTTPS is a little more secure. Now, what this is telling me is that most of you put your credit card information and you never check if the website is secure or not. So here it is. We're starting. That's why I said this applies to everyone. So confidentiality is just making sure that the information is secure, is encrypted. Nobody else can see it. Would you like a bunch of people seeing your credit card number when you send it to Amazon to pay for whatever it is that you're buying? Would you want anybody to see your credit card number? Probably not. Probably not. Well, Dr. Coffee is very nice, so he wants everybody to see his credit card. I don't have as much money as he does, so I don't want my credit card to be exposed. But no, you don't want your credit card number to be exposed, so you want it to be confidential. Integrity. This applies to something called, and for this we use something called digital signatures, just making sure that the message that is sent from point A to point B is the correct message. You don't want anybody intercepting the message, being able to open it, make changes to it, and then when you get it, it's something different. So integrity is something that we also apply in cybersecurity. We want to make sure, so an employee accidentally or with malicious intent deletes important data files. When a computer virus infects a computer, when you click on a link that you think is safe and it installs something on your computer, that is not integrity. So integrity is a cornerstone. And availability is just making sure that the systems are up and running. That whenever you need something, is ready for you to use. So with that, I've been talking about this encryption. What is encryption? Process of transforming information, plain text, your credit card number, as you have it on your credit card, physical or digital, you see numbers, 1111, 2222, 33, 16-digit number, MasterCard, Visa, whatever, the 3 digits in the back, and the expiration date. And if you have those pieces of information, you're in. So encryption, the process of taking that plain text, because you put in your credit card on a website, send it, and before it's sent, it transforms it into something that cannot be read by anyone. So what it does, it uses a mathematical algorithm. And the nice thing about Ostos Community College and the cybersecurity program is that it's coming from the math department. The people that does this for a living, teaching algorithms and how it works. So an algorithm is also called a cipher. It runs your data through that to make it unreadable. And then it sends it. We don't care if anybody intercepts the data because they're not going to be able to read it because they don't know how it was converted into ciphertext. So once it gets to the destination has the process in order for them to decipher the information and see it again plain text. So that is encryption in layman terms. It's a lot more than that. But one of my favorite subjects in college was encryption algorithms. Algorithms was something that I study a lot because it's very important in the basis of cybersecurity, how it works. How do you make things as secure as possible? One of my favorite numbers is pi because Decimal places of pi is what we use in cybersecurity a lot, and the reason for that is decimal places of pi do not repeat. And what that means is you don't create a pattern. When you create a password, do not create a password that has two numbers that are the same or two letters that are the same, because at that point you give a pattern, and if I'm trying to decrypt it or find it, once you give me a pattern, you give me a key into what your password might be. So in that sense, encryption, taking plain text, something very plain, making it into something that cannot be read only by somebody that knows the key that was used to encrypt the message. And so the National Security Agency, one of the bases of what they do is encryption, cryptography. My students, I give them homework, but I give them some of the coolest homework. So the first homework I'll give you, and let's see, maybe somebody did already. There is a show, and I think it's on Netflix right now, Mr. Robot, season 1. Season 2 is already, it goes somewhere else. Season 1 of Mr. Robot, really good for cybersecurity. They do a lot of hacks, and they talk about the terminology. Has anybody seen it? And you have, maybe a lot of times in these workshops, I find a couple of people that have seen the show. But Mr. Robot, I think it's on Netflix. Really good, really good. It gives you some of those basics. He talks about cybersecurity and the terminology. Another one that I would recommend for you to see. Oh, I missed a letter. Snowden. And if you know Snowden used to work for the National Security Agency, and he decided to take his security clearance and reveal secrets of how the National Security Agency work. Right now, he's not in the country. And if he ever sets foot in the US, he might go to prison because he abused his security clearance to reveal what he was working on. So there's a couple of things that you can do to see. It's really cool to see it, because it's not me talking, it's actually you seeing in action some of the things that we talk about. I talk about cryptography, ciphers, encryption, and a whole bunch of other stuff in those shows. Encryption. So what was the purpose of encryption? And when was it created? Julius Caesar, when he was building the Roman Empire, he needed to do something so that he could send messages to his troops and nobody would be able to see what was it that he was telling them. So the first cipher is called the Caesar cipher. It's one of the simplest one. We don't use in cybersecurity. And it was very simple. So it will take a letter. So in this case, the letter A in the cipher will become the letter D. So it's only transposed by 3 letters. And the letter B becomes D, C becomes, B becomes E, C becomes F, and then he will write the message in plain text, transfer it into ciphertext using this key, and then send that message to his troops. The troops will reverse engineer the message, take it, put it back, and then they will be able to know what the message was. Very simple. Roman times, Caesar cipher. I don't know if you have heard of it, but it was one of the basics of cryptography and algorithms and what we do. And this one is called a substitution cipher. It just takes a letter, moves it 3 times, and you can play around with it. You can write your name, then look at a table, and then see what the cipher of your name would be. I'm not gonna get into some of those examples. I have other things, but since we have limited time, I'll go ahead. So Caesar cipher, plain text is the alphabet. The cipher or the key is 3 letters move. Plain text, the quick brown fox jumps over the lazy dog. The ciphertext will be this. So the T becomes the W. I'm just gonna do the THE. The H becomes a K, and the E becomes an H. And so you write WKH is the. I like doing this so that you see how ciphers work. There are a lot more complex now. It takes a lot more iterations to make it happen. Hold on, I think somebody's mic was on. But that's kind of the same thing now. It just, we have more computing power as well. More bits, more iterations of the same thing. Identity theft. What is it? What did you worry about? How do you know if you're a victim? How does this happen? What do I do now? How to prevent this? Again, when I'm working with students, but this applies to anybody in the room. If you're a professor, you're a professional, this applies to you as well, even more than students. But identity theft, again, obtaining your personal information with an intent to use it for something. And again, it happened to me. It can happen to anyone. So the first thing we're going to do, we want to find out you have been compromised. And on this website, it's called Have I Been? And give me a second. I have the links on a document. I'm going to provide them for you so you guys can type them in and play with it. So I put on the chat, bring it up. Have I been pawned? And then on this one, all you want to do is you want to put in your email address and then see if your email address has been part of a data breach.
So, oh, sorry, Diego, is it safe to put my email address?
Yes, you can put yours, but if you want to just one of the old ones, Dr. Coffee, when you were a younger guy, you probably have muscleman@hotmail.com or something like that. But you can put it. This one is a safe website. Is used a lot for this. That is the main purpose. But if you have other email addresses, you can put one that you don't use anymore and just see how many times that address has been attacked. All right, if anybody did it.
Yes.
Any data breaches?
I put my old email address, and they said that this email address has been found in multiple data breaches.
It doesn't give you the number?
10.
10. So you're out there on the internet, sir. 11 times, 20 times. So this one that I put, it gave me 0. But it just, looking at the website in general, 940 pawn websites, 17,328,724,398 pawn accounts. So it does happen. It is real. So those of you that have 11 times, 20 times, my recommendation, as soon as we're done, change your password. Change your password. If you haven't changed your password in a while, that's the best defense. In addition to your password, what do we use now in cybersecurity to make our accounts more secure?
Passphrase.
Passphrase, that's one thing, passphrase, password. But there's something else in addition, because you have username and password. That's one thing. What do we have in addition to that? Probably you do it with your bank. Your bank, I'm 100% sure it makes you do this.
The multiple authentication.
Multi-factor authentication. It's called two-factor, it's called multi-factor, but it's the one that you don't like because you gotta take your phone out and put the little, but it was fall of 2024. We were going to a conference, the NSF conference in Washington, D.C., and then I saw Professor De Jolie, I saw Dr. Nieves there and everybody. When I get to the hotel in Washington, D.C., all of a sudden, my email from work is sending me a bunch of messages. My account is being locked. My account is being locked. Somebody attempted to hack my work account. We have 8 different campuses. They had called 6 of the different campuses to try to change my password. It almost worked if it wasn't for multi-factor authentication, because I needed to authenticate myself. After that, what they did with my account, they put me on a restricted account because of the access that I have. And now if I need to change my password, it's the only thing, I have to actually zoom in with somebody from network that gets to see my face and I see their face. And that's my multi-factor authentication from now on. Because even the multi-factor authentication on the phone, we consider that it's not enough for what happened. But somebody was trying to, and I think it was one of my students in my cybersecurity analyst class. I think he was trying to see if he could do it. And I think I know who it was. It was a big scare because if you get caught trying to play like that, especially you want to break into cybersecurity field, if you get a conviction, if you get something by law, your name goes in some database. At that point, getting a security clearance might be a lot harder. So we had to have that conversation with my class. I do teach students how to hack, but I don't recommend that they go out and start hacking, just to play around, because it's not a good thing. So, but lesson learned. Have I been pawned? Again, what should you do right now? Change your password and make sure you're using multi-factor authentication. Also, make sure you're using different passwords for different websites. This one is really good. I'm just gonna show it to you. I'm going to put in the chat if you wanna bring it up in your system. And what this website does, it gives you a detailed description of some of the, bigger data breaches in the internet. I'm gonna scroll down a little. 2004, AOL. I don't know if anybody in here is old enough to have had an AOL account. AOL was the first way to connect to the internet, AOL.com. They were the first ones. They have about 92 million records stolen. You notice very seldom TJ Maxx. This is one of those where the hackers were in the system for like 7 years and they didn't know. Because the type of hacker that I would be is a passive one. I don't want you to know that I'm in there. I want you to just give me a copy of everything that you do and put it in a place that I'm gonna tell you. And that's it. I don't want you to change anything. If you notice that I'm there, you're gonna change stuff. So you notice very seldom, it's still very large, 130 million records. But once we get to 2014, look at this. Yahoo, 500 million accounts. Marriott International, 383 million accounts. And Marriott was 7 years, also 7 years. The people were in there for like 5 to 7 years. Marriott didn't even know that they were being hacked. But did you notice how frequent and big it now is? Facebook, 420 million. Facebook, 533 million. Do you have a Facebook account? Do you know that you can use multi-factor authentication in Facebook? Do you know that you don't need to friend everybody on Facebook? We give up our privacy every single time we use social media. You tell everybody what you eat for breakfast, what you eat for lunch, what you eat for dinner, what's the name of your dog, and everything else. So in that sense, this one is really good. It allows you to see some of this stuff. There is one thing that I want to show you, and I think I'll close with that, just so that let me see if I can get the video and we can watch it. Want to get it? Have to share with sound. Let's see if you can hear it. And we'll finish with this.
I've been hearing a lot about about cybersecurity lately, largely because of what happened to Sony.
Can you hear?
Companies and individuals are more concerned about the safety.
Can you increase the volume?
Yes, I'll increase the volume.
Obama has unveiled a number of new proposals this week to crack down on hackers, and he plans to address this in the State of the Union speech on Tuesday. And it's great that the government is working on this, but the truth of the matter is we need to do a better job of protecting ourselves. You know, the most popular password in the United States is password 123. And as long as that's the case, we're vulnerable. So today we sent a camera out on the Hollywood Boulevard to help people by asking them to tell us their password. And this is how that went.
We're talking about cybersecurity today and how safe people's passwords are. What is one of your online passwords currently?
It is my dog's name and the year I graduated from high school.
Oh, what kind of dog do you have?
I have a Chihuahua Papillon.
And what's its name?
Jameson.
Jameson. And where'd you go to school?
I went to school back in Greensburg, Pennsylvania.
What school?
Hempfield Area Senior High School.
Oh, when did you graduate?
In 2009.
Oh, great.
It's like my cat's name and then just like a random number.
Okay. Has you had this cat for a while?
Yeah, she's my childhood pet.
Aw. And what's her name?
Her name is Jolie.
Jolie. Mm-hmm. So like a password of yours would be Jolie and then a number.
Yeah.
Like number 1?
Like my birthday.
Oh, when is your birthday?
June 12th.
Oh, nice. And what year were you born?
95.
Oh, great. Mm-hmm. So Jolie, 6, 12, 95.
Yes.
Got it.
So you mean to give my password right now? No, I cannot do that.
But we all want to know what it is so we can tell you if it's strong or not.
Oh my goodness. Let me think. Okay, one is Tel Aviv. Yeah. 468, and then Israel. It's only 3, but it's for me it's strong enough.
Ireland 1 2 3 4.
Gemma 1 2 3. Spelled Gemma.
Well, most of them are Italian.
Oh, beautiful.
Yeah.
Like
so
what? Like what's a good Italian password?
My grandma's name.
What's your grandma's name?
Maria.
Maria. So Maria is your password?
Oh yeah, now you know my password. Oh yeah.
Okay, I've stopped the alarm on your dad's room speaker.
All right, so you saw that wasn't that complicated. And then we're in an environment where you trust what we're doing. So if I put a link, I'm glad that somebody asked on the first link, should I put my email in here? And I say yes, but you trust me. I'm not taking your information. But that's it. You always have to wonder. You have to, that's the only way to be more secure. A couple of things, and this one may apply to some people or not in the room. The one thing is you should get a copy of your credit report. That's how you know if, there has been an attack on your personal data. But staying aware, the other thing that we had a couple of links for was phishing. We do phishing training, making sure that you know what a phishing scam could be, looking at different things, taking quizzes, recognizing. It takes a little bit. And the last thing is, in the same way that we saw if your email was pawned, they also have your password. You should go into these websites. And the question from Dr. Coffee is going to be, should I put my password in here? And if you don't want to, don't, but put a variation of your password. Omit a couple of digits from it and see how strong it is. Put 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 and see that can be broken in seconds. The more complex you make your password, the longer it can take a hacker to guess it. Go ahead, Dr. Coffee. I think you were going to say something.
Yes. So, I mean, what you are saying is good, but most of the time when I have multiple passwords, I forget.
Yes.
Yeah. So it's difficult to manage all these passwords. So that's my problem.
Yeah. So a password manager is what I recommend, because a password manager will keep your passwords secure.
Yes.
And I have one, the one that I use, and then I have an antivirus that, again, I use on all my devices. My wife my daughter's cell phones, tablets, computers, and everything else. You gotta make sure that you're securing all your devices. Because if you secure your computer, but you don't secure your phone, and your phone is your main device that you use for most everything, then at that point you're missing the point. Cybersecurity is 360 degrees. You gotta secure everything in order to be that much better protected. That is my time. I'm so sorry. We made it like halfway through that presentation, so it's a lot of information. I did put some more links. You do get a free copy of your credit report every year. You should go to that website and request it. Independent on what you do, I have a lot of different things set up on my data, just because of the type of work that I do. But from the phone calls that come into my phone to my work, being able to remotely wipe my cell phone if they detect that it's being hacked. So there are a lot of things that you can do, but you can do some basics. You don't have to be this, but you can do some basics. Become much better at cybersecurity for yourself and your family. And again, it doesn't do any good to protect your computer. You're not protecting your phone and your tablet and all the devices that you use. All right, everyone. Professor De Yoli does an amazing job putting this together. She has 2 more days for you guys. Unfortunately, I'm teaching at 9, but it was a pleasure being with you all today. The links are on the chat. Click on them so that you can save them, in your own browser, and you can play with those. Give it to your family and friends. Give it to your family and friends so that they can become more cybersecurity aware.
Thank you so much, Jacob. Thank you for your time. We really appreciate the refreshment, right? Everybody got some refresher from cybersecurity, how to protect your own data. So who want to major or send his kid to do cybersecurity?
And please do not give your password to anyone. She just saw the video.
Okay.
All right. I'll see you guys.
Thank you so much. Thank you. Thank you. We are very grateful for your time. Thank you so much.
Thank you, everyone. And it was a pleasure being here. Have a good night.
Okay, great. Thank you.
All right. Good. Who learned something? Who has any question? Okay. Only Dr. Kofi learned something tonight.
I learned that my email is not safe.
I think that's your first email. If you put any new email is gonna be like, but the first email is always kind of tricky because it's been there for a while. So iPhone 4 was iPhone 4, Mirabel said learn a lot, Regina also. So it's good. It's always good to have this kind of knowledge so that, we don't expose our bank account anyhow, anyway. So, yes, thank you so much, everyone, for joining. There's an attendance list. Please take time and complete the attendance list while we have something else. So in between, in 4 minutes, we are just going to take questions because this is informational session. We really want everybody to participate if you have any question, because we have another guest tonight. His name is Blaise. He joined already and he is here with us. He's gonna take it 4 minutes, but in between, it's gonna be Blaise work in industry. We have more than 20 years in cybersecurity, working as a cybersecurity architect, and he's very, very knowledgeable. And we are here for questions. If anyone has any question, do you think that you can advise your kids to join this field? Yes, maybe. Yes, no. Based on what you learn, do you think that this is the field that has a lot of money in the next 10 years, in the next 5 years? What do you guys think?
Definitely.
Okay, so yeah, when we talk about
the high school that my kids are going to, There's actually a pathway to cybersecurity. So starting in 11th grade, they'll be
Oh,
taking the cybersecurity pathway. So
okay. That's good. That's good.
I do have a question. For Mac computers, like Mac desktop, I heard, I don't know if it's true or not, I heard that it has already built in antivirus,
You mean the
something
Mac? The Mac?
like Macs, yeah.
Yes, Macs, mostly you don't really need the antivirus for Macs. They have
Um,
their own protection there. If you take extra, it's just, for, I use Mac for, since like 2013, 2012, but I didn't need any security. Like, if you go online, it's secure. Like, when you go on internet, it's going to tell you that this is not safe. They have their own built-in built in yes, it's true, it's very true. They have
okay.
their own way to secure compared to Microsoft that you have to buy antivirus. There's another thing, um there's another interesting thing about that I can advise those who use Microsoft. If you're using a Windows computer, or what you can do is don't click, because I use mine. I don't have any antivirus, but I don't go where I'm not supposed to go. And when I have any pop up, I don't click. So you can also use that. If it's your computer and you know that you are responsible, you are using uh, something that is not a Mac, you don't have an antivirus, what you do is don't click any links beside the links. That's actually what I advise a lot of people. Don't click on anything else. A lot of pop-ups will comes, but to be safe, it's always good to have an antivirus. Any other question? Anita has a question. Anita, thank you for joining. Thank you, Mr. Bless, for joining also again. Thank you so much for your time. We're gonna give, yeah, we have some time. We can take questions, and Bless also is here to gonna introduce himself. But before that, thank you everyone for joining this information. I know that you guys are going to spread the news. Yeah, we have a department, a cybersecurity department coming up. We want people to talk about, you know, unless you join for yourself first, but you can also maybe advise your kids to join this program. Any other question? I think someone asked a question. Anita has a question.
Yes, yes, I had a question. Thank you so much, Professor Dejoli, for the invitation. I was kind of late. I didn't get the whole presentation, but I liked what I heard. And but I had one question. How do we get the password? I think the password manager, is it
Oh,
how do
okay.
you
You can download Authenticator on your phone, right? If you have a Gmail, there's a Gmail Authenticator. I'm gonna give you the exact name. That's one of the password manager, right?
okay.
Authenticator is called Authenticator. A lot of companies have their own. RSA, that's for a different company. Outlook has its own, which is called Authenticator. It's also Authenticator, but you're gonna see the logo. For Google, it's free. You can have it there. It's gonna generate a code for you. It's blurring, you cannot see, but it's gonna generate a code for you, and you can see everything. Maybe even your emails, different codes. Let me see if I can zoom in, zoom out. It looks like this. I don't think
I can't see it's
yeah, it's blurry, right?
it's
I have to,
blurry.
I have to remove the blur black background virtual camera. Let's try this. Yes. Let's try this light. Yeah, it looks something like this. Let's see, like this. This is
Yeah, I
how
see
you're
it.
gonna see our code. Yes,
Okay,
you're gonna
yes.
have codes like this. Yes. So
Okay.
that's actually how it looks like. So you can download the Google one, it's free. You can, if you have an Outlook account and maybe you work in a company, they're gonna give you also. You can download the authenticator so it's free. You can manage even your emails. Sometimes if
Okay.
someone log in from another. They're gonna ask you the password. So it's another way. It's free for Google, for Gmail. Yeah. And I still join the program if I'm a current student in John Jay. Emily is asking a good question. The program actually will start during the fall. For now, it's fall 2026, so you still have time. If you are a student, you are majoring in anything, you can transfer, right? You can start from, it's a 2-year program. At the end, you are going to be certified in CompTIA A plus, CompTIA Network Plus, Security Plus, and Linux Plus. So it's very heavy. We're going to end up the program with certifications, at least 4 certifications that you are going to have. So we have only 27 minutes left. So let me introduce Blaise, and he's going to introduce himself. And tomorrow is going to, we're going to have some hands-on labs, for those who are interested. Please join, invite someone. It's going to be fun, right? So we're going to continue with fishing attempt. You have the opportunity, to explore, if you know how to recognize phishing emails and stuff like that. But here are more to present to us. Thank you, Mr. Blaise, for joining us. Thank you so much for your time again.
Thank you, Professor DeJoly. Good evening, everybody. Thank you for joining. I guess for this part, you guys have had the opportunity to cover some phishing today. And I'll be happy to answer some questions that you may have, but I want to focus mostly today on answering one of the questions that were asked on the flyer, if cybersecurity is right for you. So I think, listening to some of the things that Diego had said earlier, you guys must be able to start thinking about that question. But before I do that, I want to present myself. I've been in the IT and information security for almost 20 plus years now, and I've done quite a bit. My background is it's electrical engineering, and I've done at least 10 certification from security, engineering, web development, and so on. So I did a lot of operating system in the past. I did a lot of networking. And I did a lot of design, I did a lot of implementation. And these days, I focus mostly on security architecture. And security architecture is mostly focusing on how do you get all the different pieces of security to come together to, to work together and in order to give you a secure solution, which can be security of systems, it can be security of information, it could be security of data, it could be security of anything that you can think of. But when we talk about cybersecurity by itself, we are focusing just on that aspect of digital information. So, based on my multiple years of experience, I think I am in a better position to be able to address a lot of different kind of area of knowledge that are related to security, because I've done not only networking, I've done web development, I've done voice over IP, which means integration of a network, which is just data, and I've integrated voice. I've done design, I've implemented solution like that. So, so hands-on wise, I'm mostly focused on hands-on. So everything that I do is mostly hands-on. But for this session today, we're talking about, what can we do to be, what is cybersecurity? What can we do to get ourselves immersed into cybersecurity? What can we do to learn cybersecurity? What is cybersecurity, right? So you guys have looked at one aspect, which is phishing, but there are multiple more, there are a lot more aspect to cybersecurity than just phishing. So the first question that I want us to think about is the question: is cybersecurity right for us, for me, for you? And I want everybody to think about it, right? Think about it. Take like 1 minute to think about if cybersecurity is right for you. And before you think about that, one thing that you want to understand is what is cybersecurity, right? What is cybersecurity? And I alluded to that already by saying cybersecurity is the protection of digital asset or digital resources. But the cybersecurity concept will protect only digital assets is as well used even in our own house, right? So when, for example, in your house you have only one door, if the fire department come to your house, they will be like, okay, this house is not safe. You need to have two doors. You need to have one door up front and one door at the back as an exit. So we can see that aspect of security that comes not only in cyber, but everywhere, even in our daily lives, right? We protect the data, we protect our asset, we protect ourselves, we protect people, and cybersecurity, you have to think about all those things. You don't have to just say, okay, cybersecurity is digital asset. No, you have to be thinking as a as a security expert that can protect things. And how do I know that it can be right for me? One question that you can ask yourself is, do I enjoy problem solving? Am I the kind of person that like to solve problems, right? That would be the first question that I would ask myself, right? Just give me 1 second. I think there's some background noise. Just 1 second. Sorry about that. So the first question is, okay, do I enjoy solving problems, right? Because sometimes if you don't enjoy solving problem, I don't know if cybersecurity would be good for you. But that's not the only question, right? That's not the only question that you have to think about. Because cybersecurity is always changing. It's a field that is always changing. And there is a little bit of everything for everybody, just like I said earlier. In cybersecurity, you're thinking about protection of digital asset. But even in our daily life, that concept can be implemented in protecting our own resources, protecting our own resources, even at home. Just to give you an example, if you have, let's say you have $1 million right now, they give you $1 million. Do you think that you will have a problem? If they give you $1 million right now, do you think you have a problem? I would like somebody to think about it. It's interactive. If
Yes.
anybody, would you have a problem? Yes, right? That would be a
Yes.
problem. What do you think the problem will be if you have $1 million right now?
Where will I put this? What am I doing with it right now? Where do you store $1 million?
Aha. Aha. Where do you store it? Who knows about it? Who knows that you have $1 million? Now are you
The
going to be
people's
secure? Are you going to
no.
be, are you going to be secure
No,
if you
because
have $1
now
million?
I'm gonna be watched. Everything I do, they're just gonna know because I can't just have it. They know that I have it.
Okay. So that is kind of a problem now. You have to think, okay, who knows that I have $1 million? Where am I going to put that $1 million? Oh, my sister know that I have $1 million. But who is my sister friend or best friend that may, that my sister may talk to tell her that I have $1 million? Okay. Now you start thinking, right? You start solving, you start thinking. You suddenly, that is cybersecurity. You have a problem right now. Then you have $1 million, you're thinking, oh, but I have $1 million. So now I have a problem, right? So if you can enjoy solving those kind of problems, how do you protect something? Okay? That means cybersecurity would be good for you.
Les, I want to add something. When you have $1 million, you're going to
Yes.
have people who want to help you spend the money. So they will come to you, solicitation too.
Exactly.
Yes. Yep.
Exactly. Now you have to think about not there will be solicitation, your reputation.
Yes.
I may say, oh, well, I went to Moise to, Moise came, I went to Moise, he had $1 million. I wanted just $100,000. He refused, right?
That's right.
Then my reputation is gone. So those are the different kind of issue that we are all, it doesn't matter if we are doing cybersecurity or not, we are facing it. The difference is that when you're in the cybersecurity, that is something that you have to be doing on your daily basis. You are thinking about solution. I've been working for the past 6 years in my current role, and I've been doing security architecture. I've never, I've done at least, if I've done less than 200 projects, I'll be surprised if I've done less than 200 projects. But out of the 200 projects, every project has something unique. I've never done a project, I move to the next one and just say, okay, this project is exactly the same. I can just copy whatever I designed for this project and give it to this project. Never. There's always something different. Okay, there's always something. Sometimes it may be the kind of resource that they have. Sometimes they may come, just like we people, right? We have some feelings. Something that may be good for me may not be good for you. Something that some color that are good for me may not be good for you. So even though we may have exactly the same resource or the same asset, the way of thinking, our approach, our emotion, right, to that asset may be different. And that's exactly where, if you are doing cybersecurity, you have to be thinking about. You have to be thinking, okay, how can I be solving the same problem? Some people don't like to be solving problems. They don't like change. Some people want to be in a situation where things are just the same. I've learned this thing. I just want to be doing the same thing. I don't want to be learning anymore, right? So if you like that kind of, enjoy those kind of things where it's changing, where you have to be doing something new every time, reinventing yourself regularly, cybersecurity is yours, right? It's the field that you want to be in. So the second thing that I can think about, it's the other question that I think would be good to, that would be good to ask ourselves is, are we curious about how things breaks? Am I curious about how things break? Am I curious about how I can break this thing? Okay. So if it's still some kind of, problem solving, but you have to be curious. You have to feel like, okay, how can this break? Because if you don't think about it, guess what? And you're in cybersecurity, somebody will break it and you have to fix it. And if you have not thought about it, then you will have a hard time, staying in that job. You'll be frustrated, you'll be stressed out, and it will be very difficult to, to do your work. So as a cyber security, you have to be thinking about that. Am I curious enough to, how things works, how things breaks? Earlier, there was a question about, we need antivirus, for example, to Windows systems. And on Mac, for example, there was a question like, why do we need, antivirus for Mac? Right? There was a question. And then there will be another question like, okay, do we need antivirus for Linux, right? That's actually a very, very good question. And I think the question, Professor Dijoli answered that question. But there was one other aspect that I wanted to focus, which is the design of those systems. The way that Windows is designed is that the window is designed with different parts that comes together to form what Windows have. Architecturally, Windows has one part that is in the operating system that is called a kernel. And then it has another aspect which is called the GUI, which is the interface that you click on, you move on. And then on Windows, when you install something, you just click, 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 it goes, right? So in its design, in Windows design, they have a little bit loose window that allow different applications to be able to install themselves in the kernel, right? In that second package. So there's one package, which is the kernel, and then there's one package, which is the GUI, and the GUI talks to the kernel. And there's a small there's a communication between the two. When you want to install something, that GUI part takes it and then go into that internal part, which is the shell or the kernel, and install something on it. So it's not tightly coupled. But when you take Linux or Mac, that is tightly coupled. It's a package. So they do not let you be able to go and put your own thing into the kernel, right? In Mac, you cannot. You cannot just, not everybody can create a Mac application and go straight and put it in the kernel, like on Windows. That's why on Windows, you will have a lot of applications, a lot of tools that on Mac you will not have. Because on Mac, it's a little bit more controlled. The design is a little bit more controlled. And that's where you can see at the design level, you think, okay, where can I break this thing? So people have been spending time thinking, okay, how is the window design? How can it break? Why can we, how do we break this? And if you have, for example, your computer that you forget the password on Windows, you can always break it and reset that password. That people have found out. But on Mac, if you lose that password, then only Apple can do it. And sometimes even Apple may not be able to do it, and you will have to erase everything, right? Because some people have the chance. They have been curious, thought about it, thought about the design, figured out all the different breakpoints, and then be able to find some of they call the vulnerabilities, right? And use those vulnerabilities to create weak points into your system. The other thing that you want to do if you're thinking about cybersecurity, you have to ask yourself, do I like technology, right? Do I like learning constantly? If you're not learning constantly, I don't think cybersecurity would be the place to be. Cybersecurity, like I said, is always changing. You have to be learning. You have to be learning. For the past whatever years I've been doing it, I learned. I cannot say that I've spent a month without learning something new. There's always something. Maybe one application that was working like this last week, you come this week, it's changed. If you have the chance to look at the clouds, then you will see that it changes. But guess what? The fact that it's changed is not a problem. It's an opportunity. Because newcomers, right? You come into IT field, there are some things that I don't deal with every day. You may know that better, right? So the fact that you need to learn constantly is not a problem, but it's actually an opportunity. It's an opportunity that makes everybody welcome to be able to get into the field and start getting to the page. It's not the type of field that you can say, oh, I've done it for whatever year, I know everything. No, you don't, because it changes, right? And that's where your opportunity is, right? So it would be easy for you to integrate, right? And how do you integrate? You can start something simple, maybe just like help desk, where you can help people solve their issue, maybe record the people issues. You can maybe help just reviewing maybe some laws, right? Where you can do some entry level things. So it has that that side of it that you can get in easily. You can get in easily compared to other things. You don't need, it's not like you need, for example, the engineering background, for example, to get in cybersecurity. Not necessarily. One of my boss have done, for example, a bachelor in arts. And after a bachelor in arts, she went to study cybersecurity, right? And then she did some certification and boom, she's in, right? And she's doing it today. So it can be you, right? But you need to think about those things. Do you enjoy problem solving? Do you like technology? Do you like learning constantly? Right? Are you curious about how things breaks? Right? Those are the kind of things you have to think about. And you have to think the fact that it's changing is not really a drawback. It's actually an opportunity. that means you can get in. That means everybody can get in at any point because it's changing. So there's something new. When there's something new, some things that are coming new, I'm not learning those things anymore because I have other things to learn. So I can only learn so much, right? Some of the things that I used to do 5 years ago, some of the software that I was using 5 years ago, it's not the same anymore. It has changed. Now we have AI, right? Now we're talking about something else, right? So yeah, so there are a lot of opportunity. But the other thing that you may have to think about when you're thinking about if cybersecurity is good for you is if you can handle pressure, right? You can handle pressure and responsibility, right? You have to be able to handle pressure and responsibility. If you're in a role where that requires, some decisions, some things to do, right? You have to be able to handle it. And we all, I mean, once you start working, you have to be able to handle pressure. No matter what you're doing, there will be some pressure. All right. If you're living and you're independent, I'm sure you will have some pressure. You have some bills to pay, right? You have some things that you have to do. So, you know, handling pressure and responsibility will not be something different. But in the settings of cybersecurity, it's more acute in the sense that now you can find yourself in a position that you can expose or you can be the weakest link or the vulnerability for the reputation of maybe a company, maybe of an individual, or maybe of yourself. Right. We talked about, I heard about the video earlier where they asked you to, would you give your password so that they can try to see if it's strong? Let's say you have your bank account, you have a password of your bank account, and then you give it to somebody to check if it's strong, and they go and get into your account and make some transfer, right? So, so you have to do those thinking. So, yeah, so those are the four critical things I think can help you make that decision. But I think, like I said, it's a little bit filled with a lot of opportunity, and opportunity in the fact that it's changing. It's constantly changing. You can get in very easily. So it's open. With that, I'll stop here and get some questions that you may have, since we do not have a lot of time.
Okay.
Thank you.
Yes, I want to ask the first question. I mean, a comment. Thank you so much for your presentation.
You're
And
welcome.
I think that the student, what they need also will be the benefits of this field. We have more jobs, and then if they get paid more, I think students are really interested in that. Besides the pressure and but the opportunities, because in some field you may not get more jobs, but if they can go from a job to another one and so on, and make more money for social mobility, I think this is interesting too, right?
Yes, definitely you can make more money.
Okay.
But my suggestion, to tell you the truth, I've been working for a long time and I've recruited high-level security expert. I've worked with a lot of engineers. I've worked with a lot of security experts. It's very challenging to find people that know the job. If you're doing cybersecurity, whenever you're doing, it's not only in cybersecurity, whatever you're doing, I would say you don't want too much mobility, even though you may have too much mobility. If you have too much mobility, the knowledge and the skills, you need a certain minimum time to build the knowledge. And in this field of cybersecurity, given the change, you see exactly a lot of people that are moving around, but the base skills is not there because they spend so much time moving. If you have been in the area of computer, there's something that they call the context switching. In the operating system world, there's something that they call the context switching. Some people always say, oh, I'm multitasking, I'm doing two things at the same time. No, The brain cannot process two things at the same time. The brain is processing one thing after another. You think that you're doing two things, but you're doing just one at a time. So usually people are thinking, okay, I'm going to switch here, switch there. No, if you're switching, no, it's not a good thing for you, right? The thing is, build the skills. Get somewhere, settle, build the skills. When you get the skills, then you can move. That the first aspect on the moving. It's not good to have too much mobility. It's good to build the skill. Focus on what you like. Cybersecurity have a lot of different fields. We're going to talk about that tomorrow. We're going to talk of different aspects of cybersecurity. What are the different branches? Because there are a lot. And you build the skills, and then you can go after the opportunity. There will be a lot. There are a lot of opportunity. But like I said, the skills need to be there. The skills and the experience. Not naming the name. There have been cases where I work with people for 2 years. They are not able to finish a project, right? But because we are afraid, we are still expecting, okay, maybe they will catch up. Maybe they will catch up. Maybe they will catch up. And then after 2 years, we're like, oh, it's still not delivering, right? So, but how do you build? To have a strong mobility, you need to build that skill. When you get in a job, you need to stay there at least a year. Usually, if you get in a new position, you need at least 6 months to get what the job requires from you, unless that job was not very structured, right? So once you get in the job, you build the skills. Yes, then you have a lot of mobility, flexibility. You have also a lot of incentive if you get if you can position yourself in the mobility, but that comes with skills and experience.
Thank you.
And you can get that with cybersecurity. Thank you for the question, Moise.
Oh, no problem.
Any other question?
Thank you so much, Mr. Blaise, for joining again. Thank you. Do we have any last question before we wrap up? We are about, but tomorrow we have 3 days. So I think Anita has a question before.
I have one question. How good, I know you were saying, it was mentioned about like the engineering, and it's not necessarily like that, but do you still need to have some, like a good baseline with math? Question mark.
Good question. That's a very good question. And I think I alluded to that a little bit in the sense that I told you about one of my boss that I've done, for example, literature, right? And she's able to be a boss in a company in IT. So even without math, you can thrive in cybersecurity. But you need a little bit basic math, right? Which is after your high school math, if you can do it, I don't think that there could be anything in IT that you cannot do, in cybersecurity that you cannot do. Like I said, there are different areas in cybersecurity. So math cannot be a hold up for you.
Yeah,
Okay.
just to add on that, the curriculum that we designed for the new program, we have math is what mostly basic math, right? So it's not calculus, it's really, basic 100 level math that you
Math
can.
150.
Yeah, so it's convenient for anyone. And what I can add also is that in cybersecurity, we have it's not only the tech part, we have also cybersecurity awareness, those who are making, informative, so it really depends. If you want to get in the field, you can be an analyst. You don't really need that top level math like calculus 1, 2, or 3. You can find your way in cybersecurity.
Yeah.
Yeah. So Anita has a question.
Yes, thank you so much, Mr. Blaise, for the presentation. My question is, how easy or how difficult is it for somebody, like especially a beginner, to get his first job in cybersecurity? Like if you have no experience, you just getting out of school, or maybe you just got a certificate, is it difficult to find that first job?
Yes, that's a very good question. And it's a very, very good question. And just like in any other fields, right? To be able to get that job, sometimes it's a matter of opportunity, sometimes it's the matter of location, sometimes it's a matter of luck, right? But it depends also on you if you're really active looking. It's kind of hard, just like in any fields, when for that first job, because usually they want you to be able to show the experience, right? But most of the time, if you have some credentials and you are able to, and you are prepared, especially they want you to be able to, to talk, right? That's the most important thing. If you're able to talk and whatever what, even though you may not have experience, that gives you a foot in the door. And usually you can also start by doing like an internship, where you can start by doing an internship. And if you take that internship seriously, you show that you're learning, then that can give you the point to start. But it's not something that is only in cybersecurity for that first job, in everything, right? You need to be able to be prepared, get some internship that can show that you are doing something, and then prepare for every single interview that you have seriously. Don't wait for the interview to prepare. You have to prepare the first time. I think most of the time people don't prepare for that first job, and they're like, okay, I'll get on the job and then I'll learn. No, you don't get on the job to learn. You prepare for the interview by doing the lab. You do the lab at home. You prepare your lab at home. You do it in the lab. You can say, okay, I know how to set up a user account on a computer. I've done it, right? Then if a job comes and they say they want somebody to set up the computer, guess what? You'll be the first to call. They will not be looking at, okay, did you do 1 year experience to set up the account? No. The company is looking for somebody who can say, I know how to do it. This is how I do it. Right?
Okay.
And that's where the key is.
Okay. Thank you.
You're welcome.
So much, everyone. Thank you for joining. I will continue tomorrow. Tomorrow, Wednesday, same time, 6 p.m. Central Eastern Time, so 7:30. We are going to have Mr. Best here again. So we have other guests, but you are going to learn a lot. It's 3 days, so take advantage of this opportunity. Free opportunity given to everyone. Thank you so much. Right? So I think Renee proposed something in the chat. I think regarding the question, I need that question. Please read. So it's true. In cybersecurity, you have even compliance. You have also even lawyers, and they need to understand this. But you can really there's a lot of insight. Maybe tomorrow you can learn even a little bit more about all the fields and even salaries. We're gonna try to put that together so that at least you have some knowledge. Tomorrow is 6 p.m. At 6 we are going to start. Thank you so much for joining. It's from 6 to 7:30. Please, and if you have any difficulty joining, let me know. We will try to solve. I think some people have some issues joining today, but we're gonna fix that tomorrow. Thank you, everyone. I will see you tomorrow. Thank you,
Bye-bye.
Dr. Kofi. Thank you, everyone. Thank you, Renee, for joining also. Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye-bye. Thank you, all students and parents. Thank you.
Thank you.